For a stationary truck, which you will find after the Queen Nandi Drive interchange. Recovery is underway from the crash scene on the N2 from Benito to Richards Bay after the M40 toll plaza in the north coast. Staying on the N2, if you're traveling on the southbound from Umhlanga heading towards Durban, pardon me, do look out for a stationary truck, which you will find after the Queen Nandi Drive interchange situated on the left lane. And we've got ongoing roadworks causing traffic restrictions on the N3 to Johannesburg after Lions River. You can a 5-minute delay. For the East Coast Radio Traffic Team, I'm Bushesha Joy.
Report traffic now to 33116. On FM, on the station app, and on DSTV channel 836. This is East Coast Radio. Newswatch.
Residents at informal settlements who lost their dwellings through fire have begun rebuilding their homes. Last week, fire tore through 200 homes in the informal settlements of Red Hill, KwaMashu, and Sydenham in Durban. MEC for Social Development, Nhlanhla Khoza, together with the eThekwini municipality, reached out to the affected communities with building material today. Marquees have been set up as temporary shelter.
Having planned together with eThekwini municipality and social development, we have said, let us bring some blankets during this cold. As of now, we have brought some mattresses so that everyone should feel comfort. The municipality has brought building materials. We see a number of Otayela here with a lot of building staff. So they will be able to rebuild themselves.
31-year-old Muzi Kaisa Malapane has appeared in the Rudaport Magistrates Court charged with the premeditated murder of 28-year-old Tsegafatso Pule. Pule, who was 8 months pregnant, was found hanging from a tree last week. The case has been postponed until June the 24th. Expect to get legal representation. He's indicated he will not be applying for bail. Tumisang Katane, Pule's uncle, is the family spokesperson.
It's a step in the right direction. I must applaud on behalf of the family the work of the police so far with the arrest that they have made. We're preparing ourselves for a difficult journey ahead of having to relive the moment of Tsegafatso, her last moment, which was ongoing. But it's the journey that we as the family are prepared to travel.
Meanwhile, Premier Sihle Zikalala says gender-based violence must be tackled head-on. In his address to the youth, the Premier lamented the growing number of women and girls dying at the hands of men.
This is a challenge which requires and call on all of us to stand up, unite, and uproot from our communities. We must work with police to fight gender-based violence, but we must equally work together to bring back morals amongst to step.
Meanwhile,
having to relive the moment of Tsegafatso, her last moment, which was ongoing.
Be applying for bail. Tumisang Katane, Pule's uncle, is the family spokesperson.
It's a step in the right direction. I must applaud on behalf of the family the work of the police so far with the arrest that they have made. We're preparing ourselves for a difficult journey ahead of having to relive the moment of Tsegafatso, her last moment, which was ongoing. But it's the journey that we as the family are prepared to travel.
Meanwhile, Premier Sihle Zikalala says gender-based violence must be tackled head-on. In his address to the youth, the Premier lamented the growing number of women and girls dying at the hands of men.
This is one of the challenges which requires and call on all of us to stand up, unite, and uproot from our communities. We must work with police to fight gender-based violence, but we must equally work together to bring back morals amongst our people and build Ubuntu.
A top story this hour, residents at informal settlements who lost their dwellings through fire have begun rebuilding their homes. Last week, fire tore through 200 homes in the informal settlements of Red Hill, KwaMashu, and Sydenham in Durban. For the Newswatch team, I'm Myron Liger.
There's some money being done.
Taking a look at your traffic, starting in Kutukuza, expect a 6-minute delay if you're traveling on the N2 from Belito to Richards Bay. That's due to the ongoing accident scene which we have after the Mvoti Toll Plaza, which involves a bakkie with a trailer. And traffic is backed up on the N3 to Johannesburg, just after Lions River. That's due to roadworks. That will set you back for an extra 5 minutes. For the East Coast Radio Traffic Team, I'm Bushesha Joy.
Report traffic now. Tweet at ECR Traffic.
We say hello now on the phone to Chris Naidu. Chris Naidu is from the Reservoir Sports and Recreation Club. Very good afternoon to you, Chris.
Hi, good afternoon, sir.
I think it's a great place to start off by telling us exactly the kind of work and community that the Reservoir Sports and Recreation Club services.
Okay, just to start off with, the Reservoir Sports and Recreation Club is a sporting club. And basically, what we do is we coach children in various sporting codes. And fundamental reason for something like this is to get them out of the unsavory activities that a lot of youth are currently indulging in.
Yes.
So, drugs, alcohol, early sexual activities, petty crime and stuff like that. So basically, that's what we do. We've created a platform, a positive platform to get them, occupied during their spare time.
Have you been able to occupy these children during lockdown?
Well, no. This is the challenge that we're having, and this is our worry. When we had the programs in operation, we set a precedent by feeding them every Saturday after our coaching sessions. And by doing this, we got to understand their challenges, their daily difficulties, and stuff like that. So now, during this COVID-19 pandemic, we just are wondering as to what is going on with these children back home. And this is the reason we started or initiated a feeding program.
All right. And where did the children come from?
Well, see, Reservoir Youth, there's something like between 15 and 18 informal settlements. So in and around Reservoir Youth, there's a number of informal settlements. So we've adopted 6 of these informal settlements. And what we are saying is that we've done 2 family hampers, where we've given 70 families and then 60 families a grocery hamper. But then we realized that adults can somehow fend for themselves in times of difficulties. But children, on the other hand, they face a very serious challenge in the sense that if there's no food at home, there's no food at home. There's nothing they can do. So what we are doing right now is we are taking food to children every single day. So we're providing one nutritious meal every day.
Yes. And let's also look at your blanket program that you also run. I mean, my producer says that the Reservoir Sports and Recreation Club not only keeps children off the streets and keeps them out of unsavory activities by coaching children, but you also have a blanket drive?
Well, it's not necessarily a blanket drive. It's a clothing drive. It's a warm clothing drive. So we collect clothes, blankets, used clothes that people don't use anymore.
Okay.
And these can be put to much better use by people of the underprivileged community, and we've contributed quite a bit to them thus far.
And Chris, what are the needs right now? The needs that the Reservoir Sports and Recreation Club needs most? Like, do you need volunteers? Do you need perhaps help with food, or maybe coaches to also come and spend the day with the kids coaching the children?
At this present time, and with this COVID-19 pandemic that hit all of us, a deadly blow, I think right now our main focus and the biggest challenge that we have is to get food to the children every single day.
Yeah.
So that's simply our focus. We are not targeting adults, we are just targeting children. And right now I'm at an informal settlement providing some meals. So that's our challenge now. Can we sustain a program of this magnitude every single day from now till there's some kind of stability in our country? So that's
Chris,
our challenge.
East Coast Lions is proud to tell you that we would like to help you take it to the next level, continue feeding the children, and be able to maintain this. And East Coast Lions is going to donate 12,500 rands, part of its hunger relief fund, towards your organization.
Yeah, what can I say? On behalf of the children that really deserve this, our club, our officials, we just want to say a very, very big thank you to East Coast Radio. Thanks a million.
Full prorated salary.
A truck is overturned on the N2 northbound after the Umvoti Toll Plaza in the North Coast. Traffic is beginning to back up on the route. Please ensure that you are giving way to the emergency vehicles and do expect some delays. Then in Durban, we've got a crash scene at the Curry Road and Sunday Letusi Road junction in Berea, and the earlier accident scene which we had on the N2 southbound just before the Spaghetti Junction has been cleared. For the East Coast Radio Traffic Team, I'm Lisa Joy.
Report traffic now. Call 031 566 3534. On FM, on the station app, and on DSTV channel 836. This is East Coast Radio. Newswatch.
We start with news just in. A 31-year-old man has appeared in court for the suspected murder of Tsegofatso Pule. The 28-year-old was pregnant when her body was found hung and stabbed multiple times in a tree in an open veld in Rudaport. The suspect appeared in the Rudaport Magistrates Court this afternoon. His case was moved to the 24th of June for his bail application. He'll remain in custody. Meanwhile, Premier Sihle Zikalala says gender-based violence must be tackled head-on. In his address to the youth, the Premier lamented the growing number of women and girls dying at the hands of men.
This is one of the challenges which requires and call on all of us to stand up, unite, and uproot from our communities. We must work with police to fight gender-based violence, but we must equally work together to bring back morals amongst our people and build Ubuntu.
Since the lockdown moved to level 3, several women and children have been killed around the country, prompting renewed calls to end the scourge. Earlier this month, an elderly woman was raped in Pietermaritzburg, and in Southern KZN, 4 nurses, 2 of them male and 2 female, were shot and killed, allegedly by a police officer. It's understood the gunman had been in a relationship with one of the victims. Now, we should be finding out soon if sit-down meals in a restaurant or a visit to the local hair or nail salon will be allowed. The Small Business Development Department says it's ready for a further easing of restrictions and the opening up of more sectors, including personal care services. Newswatch's Dinero Mpahlele reports.
This move to have more small businesses operating again would happen under what is known as Advanced Level 3. Minister Khumbudzo Ntshavheni says while they've come up with protocols to be followed under this level, there's one sticking point. Can tattoo parlors also open? In a television interview, she said Cabinet has had discussions about whether or not tattooing should be allowed, and if so, what extra safety measures should be put in place for this service. She says they are trying to avoid a situation where only certain personal care services can operate. She says the Medical Advisory Council will announce its decision on tattooing this week. Dineo Mpahlele, East Coast Radio Newswatch.
And China's closed schools in Beijing and restricted air travel from the capital today to halt an outbreak of coronavirus cases and dampen fears of a second wave. They've reported 31 more cases, taking its total to 137 in the past 6 days in an outbreak linked to a sprawling wholesale market called Jinfadi. The new Chinese cluster and surging infections in Latin America and South Asia have raised fresh doubts about how quickly the world can control a pandemic that has so far caused more than 440,000 deaths from more than 8 million infections. Our top story this hour, a 31-year-old man has appeared in court for the suspected murder of Tsegofatso Pule. For the Newswatch team, I'm Myron Naika.
On FM, on the station app, and on DSTV channel 836. This is East Coast Radio. Newswatch.
We should be finding out soon if sit-down meals in a restaurant or a visit to the local hair or nail salon will be allowed. The Small Business Development Department says it's ready for a further easing of restrictions and the opening up of more sectors, including personal care services. Newswatch's Dineo Mpahlele reports.
This move to have more small businesses operating again would happen under what is known as Advanced Level 3. Minister Khumbudzo Ntshavheni says while they've come up with protocols to be followed under this level, there's one sticking point. Can tattoo parlors also open? In a television interview, she said Cabinet has had discussions about whether or not tattooing should be allowed, and if so, what extra safety measures should be put in place for this service. She says they are trying to avoid a situation where only certain personal care services can operate. She says the Medical Advisory Council will announce its decision on tattooing this week. Dineo Mpahlele, East Coast Radio Newswatch.
The Durban High Court has been shut down after a staff member contracted COVID-19. Cases scheduled to appear at the court from today will not be heard until further notice. Decontamination has begun at the building. Durban-based attorney Nyneteen Pillay, who frequents the High Court, says this will create a backlog in cases.
This will affect us in numerous ways. Firstly, we were supposed to go down there today to request some files, as clients want us to conduct work for them. And in those circumstances, we can't continue that work because the court has been closed. Further to that effect, we have matters that are set down at court, and we are not sure what's going to happen with those matters. If the court is closed indefinitely, we're not sure when the court is going to open. So those matters are going to be affected, and it's going to create a huge backlog at court.
Last month, the Durban Magistrate Court closed its doors when a staff member tested positive with the virus. Let's move abroad now. Sir Winston Churchill's statue in Parliament Square is being uncovered ahead of the French president's visit to London tomorrow. It was boarded up ahead of protests at the weekend. A spokesman for the Mayor of London says monuments to Nelson Mandela and Mahatma Gandhi will stay hidden behind protective screens. Earlier, the British Prime Minister Boris Johnson told MPs those who attack public property will feel the full force of the law.
Perpetrators will be prosecuted, and I can also confirm that we are looking at new ways in which we may legislate against vandalism of war memorials.
Our top story this hour, we should be finding out soon if sit-down meals in a restaurant or a visit to the local hair or nail salon will be allowed. The Small Business Development Department says it's ready for a further easing of restrictions and the opening of more sectors, including personal care services. For more news, head to ecr.co.za and click on the News and Traffic tab. For the Newswatch team, I'm Myron Naika.
So these are M4A files, apparently.
On FM, on the station app, and on DSTV channel 836. This is East Coast Radio. Newswatch.
The Durban High Court has been shut down after a staff member contracted COVID-19. Cases scheduled to appear at the court from today will not be heard until further notice. Decontamination has begun at the building. Attorney Nyneteen Pillay, who frequents the High Court, says this will create a backlog in cases.
This will affect us in numerous ways. Firstly, we were supposed to go down there today to request some files, as clients want us to conduct work for them. And in those circumstances, we can't continue that work because the court has been closed. Further to that effect, we have matters that are set down at court, and we are not sure what's going to happen with those matters. If the court is closed indefinitely, we're not sure when the court is going to open. So those matters are going to be affected, and it's going to create a huge backlog at court.
Last month, the Durban Magistrate Court closed its doors when a staff member tested positive for the virus. Gauteng police have arrested suspects in connection with a mass shooting which left 6 dead at the Jabulani hostel in Soweto last week. A multidisciplinary team of detectives arrested 2 suspects in KZN and recovered 2 firearms, including an AK-47. Gauteng police spokesperson Ngotolo Kweza says the suspects led police to further 5 suspects in Gauteng.
We have arrested 2 suspects in KwaZulu-Natal and recovered firearms, including an AK-47. The 2 suspects led us to further 5 suspects in Gauteng, and we also recovered firearms in Gauteng as well.
Sitting outside the province now, the first matric pupil in the Vaal has tested positive for COVID-19, leading to the Phoenix High School in Vereeniging to close its doors. The school's social media platforms informed parents that all the right procedures had been followed, adding the school will be sanitized before it reopens again on Monday, the 22nd of June. And Taliban fighters killed at least 12 Afghan security personnel in a pre-dawn raid on a northern checkpoint, officials say. The latest violence claimed by the insurgents. 4 security force members were also captured by the militants in the attack in the Jawazan province. Our top story this hour, the Durban High Court has been shut down after a staff member to COVID-19. Cases scheduled to appear at the court from today will not be heard until further notice. For the Newswatch team, I'm Myron Naika.
On FM, on the station app, and on DSTV channel 836. This is East Coast Radio. Newswatch.
Arrested suspects in connection with a mass shooting which left 6 dead at the Jabulani.
Let's assume there's probably a shitload of static for some reason. I don't know, humidity or cancer or something. Crack smoke ruins the AM reception. Look at there, been 2 minutes late. Radio player. That's a good name for that. I would have just called it radio. %10 off your next metal roof. Well, damn, I just bought a metal roof. What the fuck? You're not getting the full radio player experience. I don't want the full experience. That's why you're in this special quarantine browser tab. How crazy is this? IBM Artificial Intelligence Solutions. Your AI is built in. Your AI is anywhere. Red Hat. Wow. Okay. Who the fuck? 2 minutes.
And so should your long-term disability insurer. My name is Aaron Waxman, and if your long-term disability claim has been denied, call me at 416-661-4878, and don't worry about upfront legal fees, because there are none. At my law firm, we only get paid when you get paid. And before you call, you should always remember that there are no bad questions. 416-661-4878, or on your cell phone at pound LTD.
680 News Time, 10:56. And time now for the 680 News Business Report, live in the Business Center. Chris McCusker.
Well, Cam, CAE says its new medical ventilator has now been certified by Health Canada and it will begin shipping. The Montreal-based company signed a contract with the federal government earlier this year to manufacture and supply 10,000 ventilators, which will now be sent to hospitals. Now, CAE's usual business is flight simulators used for pilot training. Obviously, though, it shifted gears when the virus hit Canada. Right now, shares in CAE down by 17 cents, 23.47 a share. The TSX could snap a 3-day winning streak. Right now, it's off by 34, 15,481. Commodities, by and large, in the red today. We've got gold down by $3, $17.33. And then oil is down 43 cents, $37.96. That is a drop of 1%. The latest supply report in the U.S. did show a build of 1.22 million barrels. That was smaller than expected. And the Canadian dollar right now is down by 173.82 cents U.S. The consumer price index in Canada dropped 0.4% compared to May of last year. Prices up slightly from April. Avery Schenfeld is chief economist at CIBC.
So the actual measure of inflation here is probably understating the true cost of living for Canadians, because if we're not buying hotel rooms, the fact that hotel rooms would be cheap isn't really giving us a break on our day-to-day spending. What we're doing instead is spending a lot on groceries, and those are the things that are going up. But still, even with that, there's a softness in the economy, and that is bringing things like rental rates down across the country, which is giving some price relief to consumers who certainly need it right now.
Now, in the U.S., we have seen a fair bit of fluctuation with markets. They are trying for a fourth winning day. Right now, the Dow is higher by 8. The S&P is down by 4, and the NASDAQ up by 50 points. I'm Chris McCusker. Business continues at 26 and 56, or anytime at 680news.com. If you've got conference calls.
Well, they just went off commercial.
scheduled between serving lunch, teaching, and working out, we get it. We can't help with everything, but we can make sure your family is protected. RBC Insurance is here to help you get it. Book an insurance check-in at rbcinsurance.com/check-in.
Superfan with a super heat. Our biggest construction sale is on now. Don't pay for 6 months on all new cars. Your safety is our #1 priority. We have masks and gloves ready for you. We sanitize every hour. We maintain social distancing. No payment for 6 months on all new cars. Shipping to drive at Hyundai.com. Looking for a Hyundai? I'm your guy. Book your appointment today.
Now, 680 News regional weather conditions for the city of Toronto. Basement floods are on the rise. Don't let your basement be next. Go to toronto.ca/basement flooding to find out what you can do to prevent it.
In Oakville, 20 degrees, a clear sky. It feels like 21. In Milton, 22. And a clear sky. It feels exactly like 22 right there. And in Cambridge, a clear sky as well. 21 degrees. Feels like 23. Right now, downtown Toronto, 22 degrees. Plenty of sunshine and a clear sky. 680 News Time at the Single Tone, 11 o'clock.
#1 for breaking news, traffic, and weather. This is 680 News, Toronto.
Here are Steve Roberts and Sarah Parrott.
Good morning. This is Wednesday, the 17th of June. And in for Sarah Parrott, I'm Cam Dorrit. Here's what's making news right now.
A new report from Sick Kids Hospital is strongly recommending children go back to school in September, saying there are too many mental and behavioral side effects of keeping them out of class.
Ontario extends its
COVID-19 emergency orders until the end of June, as the Ford government hopes to have all commercial evictions in the province banned by tonight.
Police search for a suspect in a Burlington neighborhood after a shooting sends one to hospital.
A fiscal update from the federal government is reportedly coming in July. The Prime Minister expected to make that announcement in moments as the Trudeau Liberals face a pair of vital votes.
No surprise, no Rogers Cup this summer in Toronto, postponed until 2021, and the EPL is back. Sports at 15.
Markets, little changed and fluctuating. The Dow right now is down 4, the TSX off 43 amid these ongoing concerns about coronavirus, and oil is still lower but off its low for the day. Business at 26.
680 News Time, 11:01. Time now for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Jordan Kerr.
Well, this report is brought to you by Leon's Furniture. A couple of issues on the go. Some have cleared up. Eastbound on the Gardner in good shape now as you head through downtown. That problem, the Jarvis, is long gone, and the delays are gone as well. On the southbound DVP, the ramp to Eglinton is fully reopened as well, and there's no delay through there either. On the eastbound 401, seeing a delay from Highway 25 to east of it. It clears up by the time you hit James Snow Parkway. Then it's slow from Islington Express west and collectors due to construction. It's supposed to be in place until 3 o'clock this afternoon. And east of the GTA, east on the 401, approaching Toronto Road and Port Hope, the 2 left lanes are closed for paving. Really heavy from east of the port. We're down to a single lane for construction. It's backed up from Dixie and the collectors. And then West 401 is slow approaching Mavis to west of it. I say slow, it's busy through that stretch. It's all easing. We had issues west of Milton and Campbellville with a train that had shifted off the rails and blocked a section of Guelph Line. That's been cleared away and all roads in the area are now open. Leon's anniversary sale is on now. Shop anniversary specials throughout the showroom on furniture, mattresses, and appliances. Shop safely in store or online. Visit leons.ca for details. Next report 11:11 with the forecast. Here's Jill Taylor.
Lots of sunshine again today. The guaranteed 26 will feel like 30 for tonight. Clear and 50.
Stuff. Come on. fuck's sake, 8 degrees, this is great. So I've spent another 7 minutes to get 2 minutes up to date. Can we please fucking do this? Holy, make up your fucking mind what you're not gonna do, man. Shit. What the fuck is going on? Jesus.
Comfortable for sleeping. For today, the guaranteed high, 26.
And downtown right now, 22 degrees, plenty of sunshine, similar conditions at Pearson. 680 news time, 11:03. Well, it's probably fair to say that some parents are a little unsure about sending their kids back to school this fall. Sick Kids, though, has been working hard on some new recommendations for this province. 680's Moment Qureshi joins us live now with the latest moment.
Cam, it's maybe one of the biggest questions on any parent's mind right now is, should they send their children back to school? We know schools are closed for the remainder of this school year, but what about come September? Well, Sick Kids Hospital is now out with a comprehensive, detailed report in which they outline the effects that the COVID-19 pandemic has had on kids physically, mentally, behaviorally, and several other things. And they say, weighing the fact that kids appear not to be super spreaders of the virus, that's what the evidence shows, that kids are not affected by the virus as much as adults are, or people who are elderly. They say that the recommendation here strongly is to send your kids back to school when the time comes.
We strongly believe
10-minute
that it is of utmost importance that we open schools in September. The impact on the mental, behavioral, and developmental health of children not going to school, not being exposed to in-person teaching, and not being with their friends and peers is something that myself and many of my colleagues in pediatrics are literally losing sleep over.
And that's one of the things the doctors that spoke really said, that they're concerned about the adverse effects keeping kids out of class, away from their friends, away from learning can have on their mental health, on their behavior, on their learning. This, of course, comes with several recommendations about the way kids would have to return to class. They say that masks, while it's something that's recommended for us and the general public, they say in school that would be a very difficult thing to enforce, especially on little kids. They say they're recommending things like staggered lunches so that kids aren't all grouped together in bunches. And there's several other recommendations that come with it. I'll have more as the day continues. Reporting live, I'm Moment Qureshi.
You're listening to Toronto's only all-news radio station. This is 680 News. Well, as most of the province prepares to enter stage number 2 of the reopening plan this Friday, Ontario has now extended all emergency orders by another 2 weeks. Now, it also comes as the latest COVID case numbers are again below 200. Our Stuart McGann joining us live now with all the information you need to know. Stuart?
Steve, the emergency orders center around the restrictions on social gatherings and social circles, and they also allow flexibility for healthcare workers so they can rapidly respond to outbreaks, as every part of the province, except for Toronto, Peel, and Windsor, are set to enter stage 2 of reopening on Friday. The Mississauga Board of Trade says their city is being unfairly held back because of Brampton's higher case numbers. But Brampton Mayor Patrick Brown says all the mayors in Peel region agree on what should come first.
We can't put a monetary need over the health of our residents.
And happening right now, we are going to go live to Ottawa and the Prime Minister.
A unique opportunity to engage our partners across the UN to build sustainable peace, to make real progress on the issues that matter. Around the world, people want many of the same things: clean air, a real shot at success, a fair economy, and a just society. And to make that happen, we have to work together, today and every day. That is something that our government is ready to do. At the beginning of the year, I don't think anyone could have predicted what the coming months would hold. COVID-19 is truly an unprecedented challenge. And right from the start, it was clear that we needed to put everything we had on the table in response. So that's exactly what our government did. In the space of a few weeks, we introduced the Canada Emergency Response Benefit and the Canada Emergency Wage Subsidy. We created loans for small businesses and put in place support for specific sectors that have been hardest hit. We rolled out help for seniors, for students, for families. At every step of the way, we kept Canadians up to date about what we were doing to respond. Taken together, we've now introduced the largest economic measures in our lifetimes, measures that are helping millions of people, because that's what the situation demanded. Now,
As we begin to safely and gradually restart, I know people are wondering what this pandemic will mean for their jobs in the long run and what the impact has been on our economy and on our path forward. We hear that. And we want to make sure that you have the best information possible. So today, I can announce that in the House of Commons on July 8th, our government will be releasing an economic and fiscal snapshot. This will give Canadians a picture of where our economy is right now, how our response compares to that of other countries, and what we can expect for the months to come. Later today, Minister Morneau will formally announce in Parliament that we will be presenting this economic and fiscal snapshot. Dès le début de la crise, on savait que la COVID-19 représentait un défi sans précédent pour notre pays. Notre réponse devait donc en tenir compte. En quelques semaines seulement, notre gouvernement a mis sur pied un paquet de mesures pour aider les gens à traverser cette période difficile. On a instauré la prestation d'urgence et la subvention salariale d'urgence. On a offert des prêts aux petites entreprises et on a accordé un soutien ciblé aux secteurs qui ont été les plus durement touchés par la crise. Que vous soyez aux études ou à la retraite, avec ou sans emploi, on voulait être là pour vous. À mesure qu'on commence à reprendre certaines activités, beaucoup de gens se demandent à quoi s'attendre au cours des prochains mois et ce que cette crise veut dire pour notre économie. C'est donc pourquoi on annonce aujourd'hui notre gouvernement va publier un portrait de l'économie et des finances publiques le 8 juillet prochain à la Commune. Ça va nous donner une mise à jour sur l'économie, sur la façon dont notre réponse se compare à celle d'autres pays et sur ce à quoi on pourrait s'attendre dans les mois à venir. Plus tard aujourd'hui, le ministre Morneau informera le Parlement de notre démarche. Adopter des mesures pour mitiger les conséquences de la crise sur notre économie, ce n'est qu'une partie du défi. On travaille aussi très fort pour faire en sorte que les hôpitaux et les travailleurs de première ligne possèdent l'équipement et le matériel dont ils ont besoin. Et là-dessus, j'ai des bonnes nouvelles à vous faire part. D'abord, notre gouvernement a signé un accord avec l'entreprise Galenus de Montréal pour fabriquer des billes de silice qui sont essentielles au dépistage. Et cette semaine, Santé Canada a aussi certifié des respirateurs produits par deux groupes canadiens, CAE et le consortium Ventilators for Canadians. Ils vont maintenant pouvoir augmenter leur production pour fabriquer les 20 000 respirateurs commandés. Il y a 2 ans, j'étais de passage chez CAE pour annoncer un investissement dans la formation des travailleurs. Aujourd'hui, on constate pourquoi c'est si important de soutenir non seulement le talent, mais l'innovation chez nous. Researchers across the country make incredible discoveries every day, from rapid advances in understanding COVID-19 over the last few months to years-long studies of climate change and cancer treatments. It's in everyone's interest that they continue doing their vital work. So today, we're announcing almost $500 million in funding through NSERC's additional annual Discovery Grants program.
What?
This money will support thousands of Canadian researchers and their groundbreaking work, whether they're studying viruses, developing AI, or making strides in chemical engineering. Canadians are innovative and creative, and that's something we'll always support. This morning, I want to speak about help for another group of Canadians who do vital work, our fish and seafood producers. The women and men who work on fishing boats and in processing plants keep our families fed. But they've been facing some really tough times lately. That's why, in the next week, we're opening applications for 2 additional programs to support the sector. As of today, the Canadian Fish and Seafood Opportunities Fund is available to help producers access new markets, reach new customers, and maintain a foothold internationally. Canada's seafood is among the best in the world, and this fund will help spread the word. On Monday, processors will also be able to apply for help through the Canadian Seafood Stabilization Fund we created this spring. The fund will provide support for everything from buying PPE to keeping workers safe to purchasing freezers so products stay good while producers find buyers. Aujourd'hui, on annonce la réouverture du Fonds canadien d'initiative en matière de poissons et de fruits de mer. Ce programme va aider les producteurs de fruits de mer à accéder à de nouveaux marchés, à servir de nouveaux clients et à garder une présence internationale. Et lundi, les transformateurs vont aussi pouvoir soumettre une demande de financement dans le cadre du Fonds canadien pour la stabilisation des produits de la mer qu'on a créé plus tôt ce printemps. C'est du soutien qu'ils pourront utiliser, entre autres, pour acheter de l'équipement de protection.
You're listening to Prime Minister Justin Trudeau in his daily briefing here on 680 News. He's just speaking in French right now. We do not have a translation for you, unfortunately. The Prime Minister is saying today in his daily briefing, at least so far, that on July the 8th, his government will provide an economic update in the House of Commons. He says the economic update will be more of a snapshot, he says, of the country so we can see where our finances are and where we compare to others across the world. Let's continue to listen in.
The good news is that as of Monday, Parks Canada will gradually start reopening some of their camping sites. No matter what you're planning this summer, whether it's camping or barbecues, keep following public health recommendations and keep doing your part to protect the people around you. Together, we will get through this. Merci.
Thank you, Prime Minister. We'll now go to the phones for questions. One question, one follow-up. Operator.
Thank you. Merci. Première question, Marie Dostel, Le Devoir. À vous.
Oui, bonjour, M. Trudeau. J'aimerais revenir sur la prolongation de la PCU que vous avez annoncée hier. Plusieurs personnes, dont François Legault et des chambres de commerce, s'inquiètent que ça prolonge un désincitatif au travail et vous demandent de moduler la PCU à l'avenir pour permettre que les gens puissent conserver une plus grande part de leur revenu de travail. Vous avez dit au départ à plusieurs reprises qu'on était dans l'urgence et que vous deviez donc aider les gens rapidement. C'était votre explication pour à ce que la PCU ne soit pas modulée. Mais là, 3 mois plus tard, est-ce que vous ne pensez pas qu'il faudrait prendre le temps maintenant d'ajuster la PCU en ce sens-là?
Il y a actuellement autour de 3 millions de Canadiens qui voudraient un emploi, qui ont perdu leurs emplois, mais qui ne trouvent pas d'emploi. On sait que oui, l'économie est en train de rouvrir graduellement et il y a des emplois qui sont créés, mais il reste encore beaucoup trop de gens qui cherchent un emploi, qui a d'emplois disponibles. Donc, nous devons être là pour ces gens qui ont besoin d'appui, qui ont besoin de la PCE pour pouvoir payer leur épicerie, pour pouvoir aider leur famille. Oui, nous sommes en train d'encourager, on met en place des mesures pour encourager les gens de prendre les emplois qui deviennent disponibles, mais on est loin d'être dans une situation où il y a assez d'emplois pour tout le monde qui voudrait travailler. Et c'est pour ça qu'on est en train d'étendre la PCU pendant encore 8 semaines.
Est-ce suivi? Oui.
Oui, je comprends. C'est des propos que vous avez répétés à plusieurs reprises depuis plusieurs jours. Donc, je vais vous poser la question quand même. Je ne comprends pas pourquoi il serait impossible de moduler la PCU. Je comprends qu'il y a des gens qui ne trouvent toujours pas de travail. La question, c'est pas de ne pas la prolonger, c'est pourquoi ne pas la moduler. Qu'est-ce qui vous en empêche? Et sur l'idée de punir les gens qui fraudent la PCU, votre ministre Quattro hier a dit que vous aviez encore l'intention d'imposer des sanctions. Pouvez-vous expliquer par quel mécanisme vous entendez le faire puisque vous ne l'avez pas fait par projet de loi?
Je pense que c'est important que les gens comprennent que dans une situation de crise comme celle-ci, il fallait qu'on sorte l'argent rapidement avec un minimum de vérification lors de l'application des antécédents ou de la situation de ceux qui avaient besoin de cet argent rapidement. Mais comme on disait depuis le début, nous allions nous assurer que ceux qui reçoivent la PCU ne sont pas en train d'essayer de frauder le système.
And you've been listening to Prime Minister Justin Trudeau in his daily briefing here on 680 News. Again, reiterating the Prime Minister saying today that on July the 8th, his government will provide an economic update to the House of Commons to show basically where this country is in a snapshot and where we compare to others across the world. The Prime Minister also announcing today assistance for the fish and seafood sector. We will have more on what the Prime Minister had to say coming up at 11:30. This is 680 News.
Hello, Better Business Bureau.
Hi, Alpine Credits here. I just wanted to check in on our BBB rating. Are we still A+?
Yes, you are.
Oh, great.
Are you supposed to tell a joke or say approved or something?
Normally, yes, but this one's serious.
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved. And our ads are normally really funny. At least we think so. But this one is about our Better Business Bureau rating, and it's hard to be funny and credible at the same time. Alpine Credits. Some conditions apply. FISRA license 12616.
When your home is your sanctuary, the hot weather means your air conditioner needs to work. If you need repairs or replacements, Reliance Home Comfort answers your call 24/7. We're taking every precaution to keep you safe. We're ready to help with deferred payments and no interest for 18 months on featured air conditioners. And, as always, you can count on our next day installation guarantee. When you need air conditioner help now, call on Reliance. Financing OAC. Interest accrues from end of deferral period. Conditions apply. See website for details.
680 News Time, 11:18.
One person has been taken to hospital with serious injuries following a shooting in Burlington this morning. Now, this one happened around 9 o'clock on Woodview Road. It's out near New Street and Walker's Line. Halton police say they are looking for 2 suspects, and they are encouraging people who live in the area to stay inside at least until further notice. York police, meantime, arresting a woman in connection with a fatal hit and run that happened in Markham earlier this week. A 50-year-old man was struck while riding his bike in the Carlton Road and Old Ivy Lane area out near Kennedy. He was pronounced dead in hospital. Police say the suspect made a false police report regarding the collision. Then they located a damaged vehicle at an auto repair shop in Markham not long after. 25-year-old Alexandra Forstall of Markham now charged with failing to stop at a collision causing death, along with public mischief and obstruction. Police are thanking the public for coming forward with video evidence of that collision. The suspect is scheduled to appear in court in October. Well, the provincial government is putting more pressure on car insurance providers to offer more rebates.
The government body that oversees the insurance industry in the province says the car insurance companies have cut rates or issued rebates totaling $685 million. Now, that's about 5% of total premiums. 70% of policyholders are receiving some sort of rate relief, an average of about $150. And Finance Minister Rod Phillips says that more needs to be done with 10 of 14 companies so far issuing rebates. Phillips says the 4 that have not participated yet could be publicly named if necessary. Phillips announced a regulatory change in April to enable the companies to provide auto insurance premium rebates to customers for up to 12 months after the emergency has ended. Toronto Star reports the rebate totals so far are actually higher than the Insurance Bureau of Canada's own estimates. For the Business Center, I'm Mike Uppel.
Toronto Mayor John Tory says he won't tolerate any racist behavior from city employees after 2 black women accused a bylaw officer who confronted them in a West End park of targeting them because of their race.
Extremely disturbing. That's how Mayor John Tory describes the allegations made against a Toronto bylaw officer accused of racial profiling at Centennial Park in Etobicoke, sparking an investigation. The mayor says anti-black racism and threats of violence will not be tolerated by city staff. The incident involving 2 black women and a white bylaw officer.
That's what you said. You said that if we trespass after we hopped over the fence, that he is licensed to shoot.
The cell phone video posted at 680news.com, the officer denies the threats. The women say they were targeted, the officer only asking them for ID, accusing them of trespassing despite many other people being in the park. They say the gate was open when they arrived, but closed when they tried to leave. This is anti-racism protests continue, including one in Brampton this afternoon targeting the Peel District School Board. I'm Jamie Pulfer.
680 News Time, 11:21.
It's now time for traffic and weather together on the ones. And checking that drive, here's Jordan Kerr.
Looking at an issue on the eastbound QEW at Walker's Line of the ramp on the Bullnose, we have a crash and multiple crews are on scene dealing with that. No live lanes are blocked right now. Must have just moved on to the Bullnose itself, but it is causing a jam up on the eastbound QEW from approaching Guelph Line to Walker's Line. On the eastbound 401, there's a heavy delay approaching Highway 25 to east of it. We haven't heard anything from the MTO about anything going on through there. If you're there, could update us, it'd be appreciated. A free call star 680 on your cell phone. Then delays eastbound 401 from Islington Express West and Collectors and onto the 400 ramps. On the westbound QEW, it's slow going approaching Winston Churchill to Ford Drive, all because of construction in the left lane. On the westbound 401, the collector ramps to the 410 and 403 down to a single lane for construction, so it's slow going heading hanging onto those ramps. And east and westbound Highway 7, east of Kipling to west of Pine Valley, single lane each way for construction, causing delays through that stretch, especially bad through Islington right now. Next report at 11:31 with the forecast. Here's Jill Taylor.
Another beautiful day for us. Lots of sunshine will start to increase the heat and humidity. The guaranteed high 26 will feel a little warmer with that humidity. Clear tonight, the low 15, still pretty good for sleeping. And then tomorrow, sunny 29 will feel like 34. It'll feel closer to 36 on Friday. Slight chance of some showers, but overall plenty of sunshine. For today, the guaranteed high 26.
Downtown right now, 22 degrees in a clear sky. Similar conditions at Pearson. 680 News Time, 11:22.
Guys, I know you don't want to talk about it. You've been filing it in the back of your mind, and it's just been gnawing at you. Today's the day you finally do something about it. Gaines Wave Therapy, provided by Oakwood Health Network, is a revolutionary treatment for erectile dysfunction. It's long-lasting. There are no needles and no, oh, I have to take a pill moments. Perform better and regain your spontaneity with Gaines Wave Therapy and Oakwood Health. Book your free consultation.
One tab is frozen. Can't do anything with it. Oh, come on, what the fuck? Oh, yeah. What am I supposed to do with this? There we go. There we go. Fuck. Holy shit, come on. Jesus. Oh, come on. Motherfucker. Cancel what? Whoa. Delta barbecue. What'd you call that? Should we cancel, bring, and that's gotta be Dutch. Brace forever. What's in this? No, I am old. The fuck? East Coast Lines gives back to Chatsworth, Cheshire homes. Stay with Cheshire. That's a place. What kind of homes? What do you do with the clothes that remind you of a traumatic event? You got a picture of a barbecue. What a coincidence. You people are tripping. No, I guess it's South Africa. South Africa needs to adopt new culture to fight COVID-19. Mkhize. Health Minister Zweli Mkhize says behavioral something is going to be written articles that are not going to help me. I can read them. Dexamethasone. Okay, breakthrough raises virus. Hopes this way. I'm not overly impressed by what they told us. Okay. So we're 2 minutes behind. I'm trying very incredibly hard just to share this stupid fundraising story because I like it. When people that don't have fuck all throw something to, I know it's a radio, so that's something, but up here, people, you say South Africa, oh, must be poor, right? Like you have like teepees or something, right? And they can throw around a bunch of money for kids that are hungry. Notice they don't have a solution to the housing, so they're feeding them. Right. Okay, here we go. If I click this, will that open that up over here, and I can deal with that later? Thank you. Perfect. I think. Yes. And I will deal with that later. No, I don't want to listen to it right now. Android or Chrome or whoever the fuck you are today. Shit. Oh shit. I thought I was gonna have to restart everything because the mouse was only working on like 2 buttons, and that's not. You ever try to type a letter with 2 keys? Doesn't work. Okay. If it's 2 minutes behind, and it seems, I think it's 2.5. It's almost 53. I'm gonna press play really quickly. What to have this weird? Why does everybody have to have the most vague? If I can hit this button, I want to see it spin around and change colors and shit, so I know I hit it. 32. That's about 7 or 8 seconds. Is our power supply that fucked up, or do I need to spray oil in that clock? I had to spray oil in there once. That clock is very beat up. Okay, weird commercial. What do you have? I want the links to these. If I click on this commercial, what happens? I guess I could just go to IBM. The fuck? What's with this red and blue, Your AI is built